they haven't gotten them all right. I mean, they obviously have admitted that they missed some with some of the evaluations they've made. But what he's going to stand there and do? Oh, sit there and hold his hand?
I agree with you. They pivoted.
They admitted by making these moves. They admitted they made some mistakes.
Yeah, they pivoted. Without further ado, what will Garry Cobb from Fox 29 say the second half of the Philadelphia Eagles season will be? Right now, we bring in our friend JAKIB from Fox 29, former Philadelphia Eagle. JAKIB, what's your takeaway? What do you think before we get to the trades? What do you think the second half of the season will be for the Eagles?
I think they, I think they're going to do well in the second half. I don't think they're going to just roll over. I don't think it's going to go out like that. You've got a team that they've learned quite a few things. This is a young team, virtually young. I mean, for the if you look at Jalen, his age and everything, they've been through a lot. I mean, it's not like they've been over in the corner somewhere. They've been to the Super Bowl 2 times. And the last time they were there, they won. They played against some good teams. They went through a couple years ago where, they fell apart at the second half of the season. So they know what that's like. And I just think that they have the seasoning. They've got a lot of players that have been through struggles. And I don't think they're going to roll over. They've shown just this season. Come on, they haven't been blowing these teams away. They have found ways to win, and that they know how to play that game where it's a tight game and you can't make any mistakes, and you got to take care of the football, and you got to make some plays to win. Jalen has shown that, at the beginning of this season, they didn't have any running game. They had to make plays, find ways to get it done. Then he knows that when it's necessary, he'll run with the football and everything. So I think they're a team that can find ways to win, and they can win ugly. They don't. So I don't think they're going to roll over. Do I think it's going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. I mean, they got, these next 2 games. You got Green Bay. They thought they'd be coming in and playing a Green Bay team that was going to be relaxing a bit. But after losing to the Panthers, they're going to get a Packers team that's going to go, that really got shook. I mean, they're not supposed to be losing to the Panthers. So they got that. And then they got the Lions, who they lost this week too. So, but I don't think the Eagles, though, they're not a team that's going to roll over and quit. And I think they're going to find ways to win. And it's going to be tight, though. They're going to be playing in some tight games. They're not going to blow these teams out. But I do think they're going to be there standing, and they're going to be I think they're at least going to be one of the last 4 teams standing in the NFC. Okay?
How about this, Garry? Don't you agree now with the moves that you've seen post-camp that Howie is now, and this is what Angelo said, and I kind of agree with it. Uh-huh. It's like Howie lit the house on fire, and we're supposed to be praising him for putting the house out that was on fire.
I know, and I hear they haven't gotten it. They haven't gotten them all right. I mean, they obviously have admitted that they missed some with some of the evaluations they've made. But what he's going to stand there and do? Oh, sit there and hold his hand?
I agree with you. They pivoted.
They admitted by making these moves. They admitted they made some mistakes.
Yeah, they pivoted.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And they're trying to rescue because, even though I will say that, some of the young kids have played a little better, the last few games, they played a little better. But earlier, they were horrible. And I could understand why they're going out. They've signed 2 cornerbacks. And they went out and got them a pass rusher.
Actually, they got 3 from that kid, Bennett. Remember Bennett? Mm-hmm. Then they went and got the kid from the Jets. And now they just got Jair Alexander. So since the season started, they've brought 3 new dudes in.
Correct. And so that's obviously admitting that these guys aren't getting it done, And so they made now, how much are they going to get out of these guys? We don't know. I mean, Jair Alexander has played at a Pro Bowl level, but he clearly has not been playing that way.
He's missed 40 games in 5 years.
Man, yeah, he's, I mean, for him not to even be playing right now, where he was like,
and
they got
healthy.
him there, a healthy scratch. Come on.
Yep.
So that shows you. So we'll see whether, you got one of his coaches, the coach in the Eagles, that was obviously pushing for him.
Christian Parker.
So he thinks that he can bring this guy, revive his career. We will see if that's true. We'll see. I mean, I
like the Phillips deal, and I put the premise on this.
Mm-hmm.
When healthy, if you remember right, and Gary, let me give you the history here, because if you remember right, Manny Diaz coached him at Miami. Now, remember, when he went into the transfer portal, we were trying to get him to come to Miami. Like, I helped out a lot with the program. We tried to get Rocco Spindler. He ended up landing at Nebraska instead of coming to Miami. So I've been involved with some of these moves that they've brought in for some of these transfer kids. If you think about it, Russo up in Buffalo, Jaelan Phillips, and then when Manny got fired as the head football coach at Miami, where did he go? He went to Penn State. He recruited Michael Parsons. He recruited Abdul Carter. So this kid here has the fundamentals to be able to move around like that. And if he's healthy, I mean, Gary, he's a game-changing type guy if he's healthy. He's a good football player.
Well, I looked at
some automatically the best edge they have right now.
Yeah, he looks like a good athlete. Good size, coming off the corner and everything. You could see that he's got some power moves, and also got come with the speed and got the long arms and everything. So you can see that he's got the capability to be a good pass rusher.
What do you think this adds? I mean, now look, if you go like this, now where does that leave Jahad Campbell then? Because now look, you've brought in Brandon Graham, you're getting Nolan Smith back. You make a deal for Jaelan Phillips. Am I wrong to say this? That means that Campbell, because, dude, Dean is the better player right now when he's on the field. You could see the difference in the defense. Does that mean, again, Campbell's not played poorly. He's not been a liability. Mm-hmm. Do you think that means less snaps for him, or does that mean less opportunities for Brandon Graham?
Well, This is something I was thinking about right away when you start talking about taking snaps away from him. See, when Nakobe came back, you could see Nakobe. He's more seasoned. He's been through this. He's seen, he reacts with a lot more aggression when he's attacking a play because he's recognized. He's seen this stuff longer than he has, So they definitely want Dean on the field. Not to mention that Dean he's one of the leaders on that defense, and they kind of missed him last year some, when he was out of there. But he definitely is a guy that should be on the field playing now. But you don't want to see, Campbell lose snaps too much because you want to continue developing him because his upside is huge. I mean, with the way he can run and everything. So they got to find a way to continue letting him on there, getting some snaps. And I definitely think he should be on the field on pass plays, see, or at least on third and long. Any third and longs, he needs to be on the field because he's got the speed to run with people. We've seen him get his hands on balls where he's running downfield with a guy who's running the post. He's running step for step with the receiver because he's got that kind of speed. So they definitely don't want to just put him on the bench and where he's not playing anymore. So they want to get him on the field. But they do have somewhat of I'm not going to call it a dilemma because, having too many good players is not a problem, but they want to find ways to keep letting him play. At the same time, you want Dean on the field. You want to let Phillips come in there. He's going to be rushing the passer, but they'll just have to find a way to work the kid in some, letting him play some linebacker, letting him play on the edge, and letting him get some snaps.
Gary, who do you think in the second half has to have the bigger second half, Barkley or AJ, for this team to get back to the NFC Championship game?
Well, Barkley or AJ? Well, I would say Barkley, because they have built its team around that running game, and even if AJ just he catches 3 to 4 balls a game, if there's substantial catches like he can make them, then he's still going to be a factor. Even if he's just catching 4 balls. But I would like to see them take advantage of opportunities that they're going to get with people trying to stop Saquon. But because if Saquon has a big second half, then teams are going to be they're already trying to stop him. They're going to try to stop him, which is going to open things up for the passing game. They're going to be able to throw the ball when they want to. But what they can do, and they have already done this some, is when they do take shots, they're not throwing 5-yard routes. They're throwing the ball downfield and taking advantage of opportunities where they've got good passing situations. When they can do that, then they hurt teams, because they're going to make big plays when they do throw the ball. And I think that's probably the offense when the Eagles are at their best right now is, and we've already seen that. When they start taking shots to either Devontae or AJ, when a team is trying to stop that ground game, and a team is vulnerable because they don't have the safety sitting in the hole, anything. That safety's up there trying to stop the run, and then they're vulnerable to big plays downfield. And we know Jalen throws a good deep ball, and that's really where the Eagles really, I think, are at their best.
Do you think that Devontae Smith has now become the number 1 wide receiver in Philly?
No, I think they got 2 number 1s, really. He's capable of being that. But I think that, AJ hasn't lost anything. He suffered an injury, but I will give Devontae credit. I mean, he's a big-time player. He makes plays. He gets an opportunity. He takes advantage of it. So, I think he's been there all along, though, and you got to give him a lot of credit in that he's, he wants the ball just like AJ. He's just not going to, react in the same way. But, Devontae wants the ball. And that. The receivers want the ball.
Yeah.
And they should. You don't want a guy that doesn't want the ball, because
that's right.
In a big situation, they want the ball, and they're going to be ready to make big plays if they have that kind of attitude.
Who do you think has been at the halfway point to defensive MVP, Jalen Carter or Zach Bond or Cooper DeJean?
I think Cooper's probably played the steadiest. He's been outstanding, I think, the whole year.
Has he surprised you how good he's been?
No, because I get a chance to see him out there. I'm going like, people don't know how good he is. I mean,
do you think the Eagles are surprised how good he is? Because he was a second rounder. Not saying that second rounder is bad.
They were surprised he was still there. Okay, so they thought he was a first-round talent. And you can see he is a first-round talent.
He is.
I mean, I haven't seen any receivers running away from him. He can run with any receiver that's about in the league. They try to go deep. He's running step for step with the guy. And then the other thing he does is, he tackles like he's a safety.
Yeah.
He has no problem. He's a great open field tackler. Yep. And he's a good size safety.
You remember Kenny Easley?
Oh yeah.
Like that kind of skill set. Not to that level yet, but you know what I mean. I mean, Gary, he he was like a safety playing, like he could play corner. He was such a great and gifted athlete when he was at UCLA.
I played with a guy who did a lot of things. I saw him do a lot of things with a guy by the name of Ronnie Lott.
Like that I was going to say that, but I thought that was too much.
We asked him to play corner. He plays corner. He asked him to play safety, and then he likes tackling people too. But I will tell you, Cooper, he has been, I've been out there, I'm out there practicing, checking him out, and you can see that he's versatile. He's really, He could be a safety, very easy. He could play safety for you however much you want him to. But then again, because he can cover one man to man, and he does a great job of, let's say, a little wide receiver. He'll move up on him and get physical with him, And then, a guy that's fast, he runs stride for stride with the guy. So he really is a very versatile player. And they know they could utilize him different ways. And it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize him, what they decide to do. And, they're going to be looking at these guys to see what they have from a talent standpoint. Like Michael Carter, I see, he's in that slot. They have been playing, he's been playing in the slot, so do you let Cooper go out and play corner? Are you going to do that? Or are you going to, but I just think that I know that Vic likes him in that slot, the nickel corner. That's where he likes Cooper to play. And so even though Michael Carter plays that, I don't know what they're going to do. I'm interested to see how they utilize these guys. And then, you add where they grabbed Jair Alexander. They're going to take a look at those guys and see who can help them where. And I think they'll utilize Cooper, whatever's to the best advantage of the team.
Looks like the Seahawks are in the conversation to try to get Trey Hendrickson before tomorrow.
Oh, is that so? Okay. I tell you, boy, the Seahawks, they put a whooping on Washington, man.
They're getting better and better, too, defensively, man. They can.
Yeah,
that Mike McDonald can coach up there, dog. Hey, they're good.
They have been the most impressive team.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very impressed with the way that they played, meaning like they got physical with Washington.
Yeah.
And they did a great job. I mean, they can run the ball, and then, you got the quarterback playing great. Yeah, they're a good football team. There's no doubt about it.
That Walker kid, the second that got out of Michigan State a couple years ago, can play. And looks like Trey Hendrickson, there's something going on right now, potentially with Trey Hendrickson going to Seattle.
They didn't look like they did. They didn't look like they did.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, way. Right?
The way they beat up Washington, because I tell you, they went into Washington.
They kicked the shit out of them.
In front of their home crowd, and it's like they were telling them, "We're gonna do this to you, and you're gonna like it too."
Man,
they just went in and just beat up.
Dude, he had 4 touchdowns by the half.
I know. I mean,
I was like,
they dominated Washington, man. Well, the thing is, we'll see what the Cowboys have. What they're gonna come on with, because Washington. They asked me, they're done. They're done, man.
They're done right now, yeah.
The Giants are not in it. The Giants are not in it. So we'll see, the Cowboys, are they going to make it interesting,
They lose tonight. I mean, how about this? The Eagles had one of the best weekends they've had all year.
I know. And
Packers lost, Lions lost, all these teams lost in the NFC, right?
And they didn't even play. Yeah, you're right. I mean, all those teams had some tough losses, man. But I tell you, that Green Bay is going to they got to get up off the turf, and the same thing with Detroit. So they're going to have they're going to get physical with the Eagles, and they're going to they know that they got to show something. Those losses, those were some disappointing losses by both of those teams. So they're going to be ready to show the Eagles what they have. Those are going to be some good games.
Gary, I'll tell you what. One thing's for sure. I got to tell you. I mean, the Carolina Panthers. We said that they were going to be one of the surprise teams this year, and I mean, they're now sitting at, I believe, 5-4 now. They just beat the Green Bay Packers. I know they were obliterated by the Bills the week before, but
yeah,
they got the Cowboys on there. I mean, the Eagles barely beat them. Green Bay tied them. They beat them.
Yep.
I mean, they got crushed, I think, by the Patriots, if I remember right. They shut out the Falcons, which, okay, whatever. But, I mean, Bryce Young's looking good.
Like you mentioned the Patriots. Look at the year that they've been having so far. I mean, wow. I'm surprised by, what the Patriots are doing. And then you mentioned the Panthers, too. Basically – this has been some kind of season, And you're just halfway. You're just at the halfway mark. But we'll see what the Cowboys got tonight. Against the Cardinals. They got to take care of business with the Cardinals. We'll see whether they do or not.
What's funny is that Eagle fans obviously think they're the best team, and I don't think that they're not in a conversation to be obviously part of that. But the Broncos beat them. Broncos got 6 straight wins, and get this: the Broncos have beaten nobody. Like there's nobody on that schedule outside of them beating Philly, and they've won 6 straight games. So I think it's as wide open as ever. Don't you agree? It's wide open as ever.
Yeah, it is. It's this is just an amazing year, and you brought up the Broncos. They are amazing because look how many games they won.
Last second, come from behind.
Come from behind. I mean, you're going and everyone is most of them have been low scoring games where you're going into the fourth quarter and the Broncos have 7 points. And they find a way to come back and win. I mean, it's amazing.
What I would say this about Philly, though. I would say that of the schedule that they've played with the amount of teams that if we're going to use a college metric, I would have to say, they've probably played the better teams and had a better result. Yeah. I mean, they have an ugly loss on there. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they've played the Bucs. They've beaten the Rams. They've beaten Kansas City. They've beaten these teams that are in the conversation. So, you would lean there, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. And then the thing about the Eagles is, and this is the way they're talking and they're thinking. They know they got to play better than they have played.
They know
and
that.
They believe that they've shown that they're capable of doing that, raising their level of play. And they know they got to do that. Now, the whole thing is, can they take it up a notch? Can they go into a game where they have that running game that we saw against the Giants, where they show up with that running game, and they got that passing game that we've seen, at times that they show up and they take their game to a higher level, with the bright lights on. That's what they know they've got to do, and we'll see whether they can do that or not. Because if they can beat all these teams, But of course, that also means with the defense, we've seen that all of the acquisitions they've made have been on the defensive side of the ball. So they know they got to step it up over there too. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Season.
Well, that's where all the losses were, because that's where Howie, again, stripped the team down. He stripped the team down. He pivoted, and which is great. He totally pivoted. However, he created this. Okay, at the end of the day, I mean, they went cheap. It's the cheapest defense in football right now. And so they pivoted.
The most expensive offense.
With the most expensive offense, the cheapest defense in football. And now they've had to give up some draft picks to kind of counter that there. I will say this. You tell me if you agree. Here's the last one for you. The Eagles are terrible on third down offensively, and they're terrible on defense on third down, which means getting off the field and too many 3-and-outs. Do you think that if they improve those two going into the second half, that's how you find yourself back into the NFC Championship game? And maybe Jaelan Phillips, he's already their best edge. Okay? Yeah. And now you improve your edge room automatically by adding that guy to the room right now. You improve that, Gary. That's how you get back to the NFC title game, because to me, that's their biggest problem. Too many 3-and-outs, and the defense can't get off the field.
Now, I agree with that. I mean, I agree with most of that. The only thing is that running game. If they run the ball on people, then they're going to have the long possessions. They're going to wear people's defenses out and everything, and then that's going to set up everything to make throwing the ball even easier. So I still think that they got to show up with that running game that they had against the Giants, the offensive line. And, I think they did figure some things out where they're doing more double teaming to get movement. And then, they're coming off on the linebackers and everything. They're doing more of that, going to the double team. And if that's what they got to do, then, you block things a little differently. But they got to have that running game too, if you ask me. And if they have that, boy, I tell you, they're going to be tough to beat.
Absolutely.
We'll see.
JAKIB.
They haven't shown they can do that. They just showed the game against the Giants.
I mean, you got to love Eagle fans, though, man. You would swear that they've been doing that all year. Playing against the Giants, you would swear that, hey, the offensive passing game's back. And that these moves are like, you would think they traded for Deion Sanders and Reggie White. I mean, I'm like, okay, all right, here, hang on there. Let's see how this thing is. I mean, it's great to have optimism, but I'm like, holy cow.
Hey, well, the thing about, Eagle fans is just, okay, now they could criticize them, but they don't want you criticized.
Yeah, that's right. JAKIB, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Catch you next week, man.
All right, have a good one.
You got it.